before. So it's important to consider the new challenges that we're facing and how we're going to prepare for that. And one of the questions is, how can having a coach help you with that? I mean, I've got a number of questions I'd like to ask you. It's a little bit based on my own experience and experience of other coaches as well, just trying to see things from a different perspective. Is there anything you want to say before we get stuck into those?
Yeah, indeed. A lot of things are going on right now. As people probably know me, but for the ones who don't know me, I have PA in business, so I did the university, got a distinction in business, and come to here. I was a manager in a hospital in a part of my life. I started to coach since 2017, and the scenario now is changing. We are focusing about things that are going to happen now with the coronavirus. It start to go to second and third phase, as Cedric mentioned, and then we're going to talk why right now it's really important to have a coach for you as a person, or for you as a business or executive or anything like this. Anyone who is have to make a decision, the people who are decision makers, it's really important to have a coach right now. And then we're going to, as Tiki said, we're going to talk about a few things here today. I'm not going to be interviewing today. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of my knowledge. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you've certainly got a lot of knowledge. So the only thing I'll ask is perhaps just keep it as brief as possible. I know you've got a lot of good things to share.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Sometimes I can talk a lot. But yeah, for sure, I will try to keep narrow as possible to cover all of this big topic and then deliver just the best things for people who are seeing us, for sure.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I mean, but just before we get started, I mean, I think a lot of people don't have a full understanding of what a life coach actually does. So hopefully some of the questions I have to ask you will give them a greater clarification on that issue. And I'd just like to say it's a bit more than just having a therapist who you just confide in or somebody to talk to. A life coach will actually understand what your goals are, what your obstacles are, what your strengths are, help with your motivation, and take you through that process so that you can gradually move forward towards your goals and hopefully enjoy the process as well. So it's a bit like a catalyst. They're not actually doing the work, but having somebody involved can make a real difference. So hopefully Italo can elaborate on that a bit today. So the first thing I want to talk about was, I mean, as we said at the beginning, we're entering a phase where we're reintegrating into society. We've had sort of the bars and pubs open now. It's a big challenge for people. There's a lot of uncertainty, and quite often we're taught to do things in a particular way, but we're now in a situation where we don't have that blueprint to fall back on. Even our parents or the older generation who would normally look to for guidance, they can't necessarily help us and tell us, oh, this is what you should do. So it's quite unique situation. A lot of people are feeling out of control. How can a coach help people to get some control back in their life and just become more aware of what's going on and what they need to do moving forward?
Yep, you said the buzzing word is making aware. This is how coach can help basically make the person aware about their reality, what they're expecting right now. As you mentioned, we have other people like therapists, mentors, or counseling or anything like this that could help you with their past experience or knowledge about the market and things like this. And the coach is someone who gonna say, okay, we have a different scenario here. Someone that no one expected the coronavirus outbreak. No one was expecting that. And now that we're engaging the market, we are facing a new reality that was no one's facing before, the way that we are facing right now. The society have to slow down, and this make the market to slow down as well. But the market is anxious to get something as a normal routine again. And for sure, what coach could do is help you identify what's your reality that you are in and what you could be done and what you're doing right now. So raise the awareness to understand the reality that you are in, to plan next goal, to see what's happened and work in order to achieve the goal, or to work to understand better what situation that you are in. Really depends what you're looking to do right now. If you want to understand, if you want to make a strategy, if you want to achieve a goal. So definitely the coach can help you in this way for sure.
Yeah, I noticed, I mean, you focus more on the awareness rather than getting a solution, because a lot of people tend to be focused on, okay, what do I need to do? Tell me what I need to do. But in fact, your focus isn't that so much. It's about making them aware so they can move forward and to help them with that decision. I mean, that's right, isn't it?
Yes, for sure. Normally the mentor we're going to get, or someone who have a strategy already, will say, this is what happened. But now, could be the answer, could be for sure, but you have to be aware about the changes, what situation that you are in, to feel comfortable with it. Because one thing say, oh, this is the solution, but no one can guarantee right now if that solution is going to work now with this scenario. So if you're aware about the changes, if you're aware about your resources and the new challenges, you're going to be able to evaluate, okay, this is going to be good, this maybe not, we have to change slightly here, because we have change of priorities as well. So all of these things, you need someone to help you, not to come with the solution, because actually no one can guarantee what's going to be the solution. So with the awareness and everything that you can plan yourself, first of all, you can have a peace of mind that you're doing the best that you can in the moment. Sometimes you're going to be on top of the battlefield, as I mentioned with Darren last live, just to understand what are the options, what I'm facing right now, what's the better than right now. Could be the best option, but so if I know all the options and I know that one is the best one, I'm going to have the peace of mind that I'm doing my best, putting my energy here, and then I can focus and motivate myself and everything. So for sure, this is something that will benefit any person, any company, any decision maker that needs to, and this is how we're going to work out it.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it's not dissimilar to some of the work I do as a lawyer as well. So quite often people will come to me and saying, look, how do I do this? And they might ask me quite narrow questions, but quite often at the beginning, when I give them advice, the main thing I need to do is firstly find out all of the information and then tell them what their options are. I appreciate the role of a coach is slightly different, but in fact, it's not that different in the way that you've explained, where before you actually move forward to what action needs to be taken, you're actually stepping back, looking at the situation, looking at what the person's priorities are, and then making them more aware of their situation. And that provides a stepping stone, if I've understood correctly, to then enable them to move forward.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Brilliant. Okay. Next question is more to do with focus. I mean, the thing is, there's so many things that our minds have to deal with nowadays. So much information. People are telling us 100 different ways to do something. And one of the things I've been speaking about recently as well in my NLP studies is that the fact that the human mind can only focus on about 7 things plus or minus 2. It's generally about 5 to 9 things. But we're often bombarded with so much information, we can't deal with all of it at once. So how can using a coach help people to identify what's important and focus on the things that they really need to focus on?
Yeah, this is totally true. Every single situation, you have a specific scenario. You have to look every single individual or company and in the scenario that they are in. And this comes across one thing that we discussed, me and Siddiq, a few lives ago, again, regarding the matrix about important and urgent.
Yeah.
And this, you have to work in this, because something is important and something is really urgent. Like if you get with the coronavirus situation that we are right now, it's really important to re-engage with the market, because you already have like 3 or 4 months that you're like holding your horses. You cannot even go, you cannot even open your store, or you have to do a lot of things that's happening in these 3-4 months. So this is really urgent, but you still have something that's important, that is the society that who is detecting it. Say, look, we have to keep social distance, we have to keep it safe. So it doesn't matter if you want to sell it, everything, because you're like almost craving to go back to the regular basis before coronavirus. But we have to understand the scenario change it. People like want to keep social distance. People need to have be secure. They don't want to risk their lives or risking getting coronavirus because of it. So you have like the important thing, who is safety, and you have like this urgent thing, like to get again back to the market. And you have to see how to manage both of them, and then have things that are urgent and important. That's like getting your earnings back again. Like everybody wants to start to get have profit again. But you cannot just forget about the security. The society say, okay, I want to buy a few things. I want to go to the mall again. I want to go to shopping again. But in the same time, I don't want to be in a crowded places. I want to be in the pub, for example. I really want to be in a pub to meet my friends and everything, but I'm definitely not going to go in a pub that's going to be crowded, like 50 people in a room, and be like squishing to try to get a drink. this is not going to happen. So we have to see how far we can go, and each single person or company or scenario is different, and you have to see, okay, I have this and that, this is what government says, this is that what the market says, this is what we're having, and then again raise the awareness, see this matrix against important and urgent, and see what you can do as resources to make the best of it. And this who's going to help you in this journey will be a mentor. Not mentor, sorry, it's going to be a coach. A mentor can help with past experience, but unless it's someone who experienced the Spanish flu, it's not someone who's going to give a lot. It's okay. It can help you.
True.
Maybe a mentor can help you, but to know if mentor is the best option, you have to raise your awareness, and the best person to raise your awareness is the coach.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, just to summarize some of the points that you made. So even in my work as a lawyer, quite often we have people come to us. I deal with housing law who, for example, they're at risk of losing their home. There are court proceedings in place, got to apply for legal aid. And there's so many questions that we need to answer. The client's very nervous, but making those distinctions can be really helpful. So for example, if you've got a hearing coming up within the next 3 weeks, you can apply for the emergency legal aid procedure on the basis that it's urgent. And therefore you can focus on that side of things, and you can just focus the client saying, look, this is what's urgent, this is what we need to deal with immediately. And then after that first hearing, there may be other things which are also still important, but you can just understand that you will deal with those after a month or so. So that way you don't have to focus on everything at the same time. And again, just about priorities, for example, and understanding what's important, you have a special category for legal aid funding called overwhelming importance to the client. So one of those examples is where somebody's about to lose their home. So normally they'll be asking, look, why should we fund the case? What are you going to get in return? How much compensation are you going to get in return? And you have to show that balance in exercises between costs and what you're going to recover. But when it's something like losing your home, for example, or if somebody's safety is at risk, that's considered overwhelming importance, and that any amount of money will be justified in that. And again, the examples that you've given about coronavirus being safe, it just helps people put things into categories and prioritize things, and just helps them with that process. I think that's really helpful.
Yes, it is. It is indeed.
Okay. Another thing as well is, I mean, a lot of what coaching is about, and self-development generally, is about getting people to think big, think beyond themselves, beyond the limitations that they're used to. But a lot of people I found struggle with that process. They're used to seeing themselves in a particular way, a particular stereotype, and feeling quite uncomfortable actually, even though they have thoughts thinking this is what I want to be, then they might feel slightly uncomfortable about it. Just to give an example of myself, when I did my first self-development course, I think I had the idea that I wanted to be a charismatic leader, but in fact, when we asked to share it, I just felt uncomfortable about saying I want to be a charismatic leader. I was like, oh, I want to be a leader. And it's interesting, like all of us suffer from that. So as a coach, how can you help people to dream big and reach their full potential?
Right. Dream big is a really, I think it's a really good topic to talk, because why we say bigger the better. And dream big is not necessarily the bigger that you can dream. And then we come to one thing that you said as like stereotypes and things. We have one thing in coaching that's really important now. Again, if you a person or a business or anything, is challenging the beliefs. Normally we say limiting beliefs, who people probably not going to be aware is something that
you could just explain that, please. What do you mean by
that? Limiting belief is something that you stop doing because you believe you're not going to achieve, or you believe you're going to be a failure, or that it's not for you anyhow, or anything like this, because past experiences or stereotype or anything like this. So limiting beliefs is like imagine me right now. So I'm Scotland, and then I'm ordering my groceries from online, get delivered, washing, and not getting step out of my place for 3 months because I'm afraid to get coronavirus. And because of that, my exercise and my healthy life, or I'm not getting fit, my health is going down. But I'm saying, why I'm not going out? Because if I go out, I will get coronavirus. And I say, this is stopping me to make it, because I'm sure, I believe if I go out, and if I go to any big stores to go shopping, I will get coronavirus. And then this is stopping me. But it's not exactly the truth, because if I maintain social distance, wear a mask, when I come back to my place, take out my clothes, put to wash, take a shower, clean the things if I bought something, or I go for a walk and come back, put the things away. This is going to keep me protected. And then I don't need to be inside my place all the time, 100% of the time of 31. So this is what's stopping me. This is a limiting belief. The same things could happen with places or business that say, oh, I'm not going to open because I will get sued or people are not going to come in. And then you have to evaluate the market. You have to understand, according with the government, what is allowed to do, what is not allowed to do. Sometimes you're not allowed to do because the government does not allow you to. That's a reality. You have to face it. But once you can open a restaurant for maximum 5 people. We are not in this stage yet, but could be. Or you can get together, stores start to open for buying shoes or things like this. So yeah, 5, 7 people maximum in the store. Right, let's keep it and see if it's profitable for me, if it's something that I could manage, or say, okay, if I open my store just for 5 people, I'm not gonna work it. I'm gonna be more costs than profit, so I'm not gonna balance it out. Well, so challenging these beliefs is something really, really important. And when it comes to how you can deal with it and what reality you are in, coach is the best person. A coach is gonna comes to you as a mirror and say, oh, this is what happened. Is this true? You know, so you think that's going to happen, this and that. Is this true? So what you can face it, or what you need to go over it. Or why are you thinking like that? What make you think like that? And then sometimes it's true, and then it just comes to reality. Sometimes it's not. You can challenge it. We as a coach can do it according with the client itself. Every single person have a way to prefer to be challenged, and yeah, we always narrow this down, tailor it down to be something specific for the person. Did this answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, limiting, it does answer the question, but limiting beliefs, I think, is a really big area. Yeah, and probably we could do a whole live on that. Unfortunately, we don't have time for that today, which is why
I can talk here all day long. If you want to talk about limiting beliefs, I can have a lot of examples to you. Some clients of mine said that I can share a few examples, but otherwise, let's narrow it down, because otherwise it's going to be long life.
If you don't mind, I'd just like to give one of my own examples. So just recently, I'm part of a cycling group as well. So one of the people I cycle with regularly, he always says like, oh, you're a really good cyclist. And the other day, a few of us were doing, wanted to try mountain bikes on a BMX track. So it started with quite a steep drop and then quite a steep incline. So I was thinking, oh, I'm not sure if I can do it. But he basically said to me, oh, come on, you're like a pro cyclist, you'll be able to do this. And he said, okay, fine. If you're not comfortable with this, start with the slightly smaller bumps over there, and just took me through the process of sort of when to brake, when to accelerate and pedal a bit harder. And I think that's a good example, because it's not something he could have done with it. He said, I'll do it with you on his bike, but it's not something that he could physically do for me. It's something I had to really work through myself. But I think for me personally, it made a big difference just having him there, saying, oh yes, like I said, I've seen you've done this in other situations. This is what you to do, and I'm going to do it with you. I totally get how having somebody in that sort of relationship could really help you overcome those sort of limits that you put on yourself.
Yeah, and it comes to one thing that you mentioned, like dream big. We have to always be careful about how big you can dream, because you have to dream big to always put this dream on the stretch zone, never in the panic zone, and be overwhelmed about it. So, oh, I want to run 10 kilometers. I want to run 100 kilometers. Okay, it needs to be a dream that will be like, oh, challenge it. So challenging. So, oh, this is going to be a challenge. So I have to be.
So I think that's one of my other questions. If you don't mind, I'm going to ask you that a bit later on, and you can perhaps.
Oh, for sure, go for it then.
If that's okay. Sorry about that. It's just that there's quite a lot I want to ask you. So, but yeah, I think you've touched on the main points on that. But I'm going to come back on that in terms of sort of breaking down a big goal, because I think that's a challenge we all have. Another thing I want to ask you was about sort of accountability, because the problem is that a lot of us in our professional lives, in education, like we're used to being accountable to people. If it's our teachers, if it's our line manager, our parents, we're used to having that. And somehow, even if we're not motivated for something, things get done. But I find a lot of us in our personal goals, although we have that drive and ambition, we don't have that same accountability, and that can sometimes count against us. So how can a coach help a client with accountability and checking in to make sure that they're staying on track with their goals?
I have analogy. I have a lot of analogies, but one of the things that I keep in track and is really close to the motivation, because the coaching relationship and coachee and the coach is a really dependable relationship. So, and then coach is there just to be there as a mirror. So you're not there to judge your coachee. So like for sure we have like the teacher or parents, oh, you do not make your bed today, or oh, do not make the homework and things like that, and judge you and then told you off after. Coach is there to help you understand what you're facing right now, again, to reality. And then what happened if it was a problem, or if it was something that is happening and you have to overcome it somehow, or if it's happened once and that's why you do not make it. And then if it's okay, just a sport problem. Oh, I was about to train today, but I twist my ankle, so I could not run. Okay, so we have like 2 weeks that I'm not going to be running to heal, and then you come back, perfect. Or something that's, oh, I'm not having the resources enough, and anything like this. When it comes to this, to what's the coach is, when I say it's the mirror, is again the analogy to getting fit. You have, when you're growing or when you're getting in fit, sometimes you're really attached to the feeling like, oh, I'm looking pretty today, I'm looking good, I'm looking buffed, I'm looking like slim, I'm looking like more curvy, that's good, I'm getting more weight if I'm willing to get more weight, I'm getting more muscles and willing to get more muscles. And then, but sometimes right the next, the day after, you're like, oh, today I'm
that's very
horrible.
true.
Today I'm feeling like crap.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, so what's the thing? The coach is going to be there as a mirror and as a picture on the side. It's like, oh, 5 days ago or 5 months ago, you were like this. You told me that you were like this. And then I'm here as a mirror reflecting what you're telling me that's happening, reflecting everything. So you're going to be seeing yourself not physically in a mirror, but your actions, your habits, your routine, the things that went well, the things that went wrong, and you in the past as well. So the coach will be there as a mirror to help you understand what is going on, not to judge you and say, oh, you did it wrong, you did it right. It's just like to help you, if it goes wrong, to learn with your mistakes and move forward. And if it goes right, perfect, let's make the next step. So that's pretty much what the coach will be doing on the relationship, on the rapport. And for sure, building rapport is a big chunk of our coaching as well. It's not related to the coachee. The coachee going to be just giving information. Coaching will be mirroring this and creating the report, the paper track, and everything to have like a based feedback to the person. But then this will come to the person and say, wow, I did well and I want to do well. The coach wants to do well. Everybody is getting there to do the things works and understand more. And the coach will be there mirroring and helping the person to create the analogy, makes the right questions and the picture as well, every now and then, to show how the person creates.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, I think you raised some really good points there, because when a lot of us think about accountability, we think about sort of being told off and being judged. And unfortunately, a lot of us have quite negative role models in our teachers, our line managers, even our parents. So I think a lot of people have an issue with accountability, but in fact, the way that you've explained it, it seems a lot more encouraging, where basically you're not judging that person. You're not saying this is what you need to do. You're just giving them that moment to reflect. And I think a lot of us, we don't really have that opportunity to see our thoughts, our emotions, our thought processes being reflected back to us. And I think that in itself probably quite useful for people. And just like I said, a lot of us feel that we need to have made a decision in the moment, but the gist I get from you is that that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. You're basically reflecting back that information to them, and the client can basically do what they want with it.
Exactly, for sure. The client is the
Brilliant.
person who is in charge it and is driving all the time. We are there as a tool to make the things better, as a catalyst. So we have
Brilliant.
a lot of ways to describe what is a coach. And the process to become a coach, we always say, so what is a coach?
Yeah.
Or we have hundreds and hundreds ways to explain what is a coach. And
Well, I
then
think one good example is actually you mentioned the I mean, last week you interviewed Darren, who I understand is a parent coach. I think if people had that approach to parenting, there'd probably be a lot more positive parent-children relationships, when the parent played more of that role, supportive role, rather than an authoritarian role. But that, again, that's a topic probably for another day. But my next question is linked to something you said actually about motivation. How does a coach go about motivating their client? Because something I found, particularly when I've done a number of 10K races for charity, I do a lot of long cycle rides, and although at the end of the process you can feel really invigorated, the process itself is often not that enjoyable. You may have been separated from the rest of the group, you're just plodding along, you're tired, you're hungry, and maybe it's cold, whatever. That process can be difficult. How does a coach go about helping to maintain motivation through that process?
Yeah, it's true. So when you're climbing a mountain, sometimes the glory is on when you're in the peak of the mountain, say, yeah, I did it, and a great view. And then every single person gonna deal in a way. We have different type of personalities. Have people who is really aiming forward. So is 10 miles up on the hill go to the peak of the mountain. You're like already 6 miles up. And I say, yes, only 4 to go. Let's go. And then someone's like, ooh, how much 6 miles, dude? This challenge for me. And I have it like almost the half. And then it's the way that you see the things. And then every single person doing a different way. And then few of them will say, okay, I already crossed the half mile, half of the journey. And then let's focus on the top and imagine how it's going to be the top, how amazing it's going to be. I need to do it and focus that. Some of them are going to be like, okay, I'm in the middle of the journey. I'm going to make a break and look the view here. I can already see some tops of the trees, few things there are quite nice here. I enjoy the moment there, and then use that to get your energy back again and move forward. And some of them are going to be like, oh, I'm tired. And then, but let's look back. What have been done so far? And it looked like I have already 6 miles or 3 miles or 1 mile or anything. You already achieved something. You already moved forward. And say, oh, I did it. So just keep doing that until it comes in the top. So enjoy. Few people are going to be motivated by the future. Some people will be motivated by the past. Some people will be motivated by the present. And all the ones have a lot of different types of personality. And then the coach will be there to help you to hook this memory back, so deliver somehow to you the things that you like to be motivated by. So if the coach spots your personality and say, oh, this person looks really forward, it can help you somehow to see forward. So it's going to be the next thing. If you like the person who's a paper, so I like the paper track and hear what's happened in your history. Look how you've done. And other people who's a more present person, look where you are. And then this type of things, talking as a mirror. So if your person is the future, the coach will be a mirror and work in the future as well. So this is what engage the person. This is what motivates the person. Is the person the present? Present is the past. Is the past. So we're gonna adapt it and reflect to you the way that you prefer. Always, the coach never gonna be someone that is not what you prefer. Some people prefer to be challenged a lot, and then that's what the coach will be. Will be challenge person. Maybe to make it uncomfortable. Could be, but the person prefer to be uncomfortable, prefer to be challenged, or prefer this and that. And the coach will adapt to do as a best tool ever to motivate the person or the team or the business to keep going and get yourself together. If you're like in a moment that you are pretty lost, so okay, get yourself together. Let's go move forward. For sure, if you need extra help for a therapist or a mentor or counseling or any other things, you can get it. You can get it. It's not limited to, oh, coach, you're going to do as a philosopher's stone or a single pill solve all the problems. But then you're going to keep following you everywhere you go and mirroring the best way that you can do to help you move forward.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I think the 2 points that I really picked out from what you said. One is that sort of tailored approach to the individual, because the fact is people do think differently and different things motivate different people. Some people like to sort of stay safe and take this more cautious approach. Some people like just get stuck in. Like you said, some people are more forward looking. Some people like look at the past a bit more. Let's give another example. There's a joke is that in Asian families, there's basically only 5 things that like a son or daughter can be in terms of their profession: either doctor, lawyer, accountant, pharmacist, or they're a failure. So those are the only
Oh my God.
vocational choices. And I think that's a way of thinking, but not everybody thinks like that. And it's really important that when you're dealing with an individual, you focus on their way of thinking rather than what is your own agenda or what is your own perception, because people are different. And if you're trying to motivate them with something that they don't find motivational, it's simply not going to work. And I think you explained that really well. And another thing as well is, I think a lot of people have this idea about perfection, that if you're going to put yourself out there, achieve something, you've got to be perfect. If not, it's not worth doing. But in fact, I remember you put a post a while back about the zero to hero myth, which really just focused about the fact that it's a process. And another example as well, I quite like playing these role-playing games. And nowadays, it's not about getting out that final product. A lot of the game design companies, years in advance, 1 or 2 years in advance before they release the game, they're talking online about the processes they're going through, the problems they're having, the things they're having to rework. And they're even putting games out in early access mode about 1 or 2 years before the actual release of the game, saying, look, this is not perfect, but this is to give you an idea of what we have in mind. And people are giving them feedback. And eventually that's leading to a really good game because they've taken on board the feedback and realizing that it's a long-term process. And in fact, what I found is that actually increases the excitement at the end of the achievement once the game is released, rather than decrease it. And I think that's a really important aspect that you've touched on, enjoying the process and seeing those little wins as well, and using that to actually not enjoy the process, only the process itself, but to increase the enjoyment and fulfillment you get once the goal is achieved. So I think that's brilliant. Thanks for that. And again, this is linked to one of the things you spoke about. So if you want to talk a bit more about this now, please feel free to. I mean, the thing is, a lot of us have these thoughts within us which are quite playing on our mind, which we don't feel comfortable talking to people about. For example, I'm not good enough. This is going to work for me. Fine. So-and-so may be good at it, but this isn't me. How can a coach help people to tackle those sort of psychological barriers they have, which, to be honest, quite often can be embedded by quite traumatic experiences early in their life, which they may not even be aware of? How can you help to address those and help them move forward from that if that's something holding them back?
Yeah. As this is, again, we come across the beliefs, challenging the beliefs and everything. We have every single coach, then it becomes like more coach while you do the coach itself going to work out with their tools. Every single coach have their toolkits to go and challenge in a way that is comfortable with the client or the coachee. If the person have a belief or they are not comfortable with something, we need to understand it why. If it's something really deep and comes to emotional and triggers a lot of things, sometimes coach could not be the best thing to have it in that moment, to treat that specific obstacle or things that is a barrier. And then you have to deal with the journey in a different way, or deal with that first and then come back to the coach to achieve their goal. But if it's something that you like challenging, but you are comfortable to face it, and then you feel comfortable to do this with the coach, we have a lot of tools to, again, raise the awareness, see what's their reality, put this against your expectations and priorities. So one thing that we have is, when it comes like, I don't believe this and that, is like, see what's your priorities, and then why you have this belief, and see your priorities and see your expectations. So expectations of failure is really important to say as well. So normally say, oh, I'm not going to do this because I expect to fail. I think I will fail. So you have your expectations to fail. Why? Why you think is the situation that you are in that's going to make you fail? Can we avoid that? So coach, we're going to have like the right questions to challenge this belief. to at least make you aware that it could be a limiting belief, could be a reality, but could be a limiting belief. And it's going to be up to you if you are comfortable to challenge this in life or not. Again, the coach is not here to judge you and tell you what to do and tell you off if you don't do it. The coach is here to help you and assist you to raise your awareness and challenge a few things in turn on the back of your mind to understand better the reality that you are in, to again make the right decision or make a decision. So I have a time frame that's here. I have to make a decision, and I don't want to postpone this anymore. I don't want to delay this anymore. So let's make it do it. So coach, this comes like more, it's really specific for each coach, but that's the way that the coach will do. We're going to use their tools, their questions to challenge the belief.
Brilliant. Yeah. I think a really good thing about the coaching direction is that we have a variety of different coaches available. So each one's got their own style. So it might be one style works for one client, it might be a different style works for another. But, yeah, I think you identified a number of really good points. And just another technique used in NLP as well is this technique of anchoring, where you can actually, so a lot of us have things, for example, it might be you have a photo of your family as when you were younger, for example. There are certain things that make us feel better, for example. Those are essentially anchors. So external things can have associations for us. So you can actually do that in different ways and create anchors consciously. So in the past, I've given an example as well of my kendo fight, where I basically had to fight 3 people one after another. It was my first fighting experience. It was quite challenging, but in fact, I got an award from that, which was for fighting spirit, which I put on my wall. So when I'm in difficult situations, when I look at that, it makes me feel differently. So effectively, it works as an anchor.
Yeah.
But you can create anchors consciously rather than they're just being subconscious. And sometimes that can help somebody's way of thinking. And for example, if you start questioning, as you explained, a coach isn't going to prod them too deeply if it's something quite distressing, but you can even use that anchor process, just where you have what you call a safety anchor. So if somebody's starting to feel slightly uncomfortable, you can trigger a safety anchor, and then they're going to feel a bit better. So
yeah, for sure.
Combination of those techniques. And again, in law as well, we focus a lot on the difference between fact and the interpretation of fact. And like you said, a belief, it's not the fact itself, it's your belief about the fact. And quite often when you challenge it and start asking those questions, you start to see things from a different perspective. But I think it's quite hard to do that on your own. And you've given an example of how having a coach can really help with that process.
Yes, it's a lot of things is mentioned. As I told you, you have this toolkit because you do NLP and things like that. You're training for NLP, and that's how it works. And every single coach, as you mentioned as well, here in the coaching direction, we have quite a few. So you can go to our website, try one, and say, I'm liking it, but the approach or the way the coach thinks for this particular goal that I have, I don't think is appropriate. I can go to another one, or can see the videos and live that we have here, and to see which one talks better to you, or going to be the ones that are going to get most benefits from. And then, that's exactly what you said. And then you can use the anchor as a positive way to create an anchor. Oh, remember, this is a tough time that I have to face it, but I faced like 3 matches in a row, and then I got reward for it. And then you look at you got this feeling again, like, that was impossible, but I did it. Nice. And you rescue the memory again from the past to bring to the present. And that's one of the ways to deal as well.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so I've just got one more question. We've got about 5 minutes left. So this is more of a generic question, actually. It's because the thing is that a lot of us have goals that we don't really share with people, and they tend to just stay in our head and not really go anywhere. And what we often refer to as a someday, one day mentality. When everything is perfect, this is how it's going to be. But one thing I guess I really learned through the coaching process was how talking to somebody about these things can really bring them to life. So, I mean, my final question is, how can the process of talking to somebody about a goal help it into fruition and become a reality?
Oh my God, I love this topic. We can break it down in a lot
We only got 5 minutes.
Okay, sorry guys, I will try to be short as possible. We have a lot of things. The process of speech is amazing. So once you speak about something, you're gonna see if it's real or not, if it's achievable or not, and then you structure the thought to make the phrase, and then you have like if you go power of habits, like and law of not power of habits, law of attraction as well.
Yeah.
But have few things that is good. Law of attraction exists because you are an average of everything that you are or you say on your atmosphere. So if you only say bad things, you're gonna drag you down. If you only say good things, you're gonna raise you up. And then for sure you have to stay in the reality and everything. So saying to someone the things that you want to achieve, not say out loud and to people if you're not comfortable, if you think is someone who's going to steal your idea or anything, don't go over. That's another thing that will come, that's putting the panic zone. But you have to say it to someone like confidential if you want to as a coach, because it will help you. And then keep the process of mindset in a positive way all the times, to always see the bright side of it, to use this as motivator or an engine to keep you moving. And always, again, one thing that I mentioned right in the beginning, put your dream big in the stretch zone, but careful to not put it in the panic zone. So if you want to run 100,000 miles, you can do it, but sometimes this overwhelms the person and demotivated instead of motivate. So you have to find a place that you put your dream that is engaging. That's the best thing that I can say. So dream big in the engaging area, so the stretch area or anything like this. So, it's challenging, but in the same time, it's not like something that it seems impossible now, but I can achieve in the long run. But never like, I'm never going to do this, so why am I going to waste my time with it? Because if you do a goal, if you do something that's overwhelming, you're going to demotivate you, because it's just a waste of time. And no one likes to waste of time. Nobody likes to waste anything. So you have this thing about the beliefs, you have the thing about your goal, dream big, and you have your mindset and the area that you are in, and the law of attraction and things like this. Even if you don't believe that, you don't believe in law of attraction, this is just rubbish, my word is binary, 1 and 0, 1 and 0, have it, don't have it, that's the way. Perfect, that's the way that you work. So let's put the inputs in the way that is better for you. So what keeps you motivated? Normally good things give you reward, good sensations, good feelings. And then what is this in your life? And then let's surround you around this if you're feeling demotivated, to bring your motivation up. Let's put your dream measurable, smart, priorities, all of it. We have a lot of tools with coaching that we can help you or your company or is a specific goal in the moment to achieve you. And again, as we are talking here after coronavirus situation, how important to have a coach, this is really important, because if you're not aware about the things, if you don't know what to speak, what is the things that motivates you, and how to keep a positive atmosphere or a positive environment to achieve it, you're going to feel stuck. And you're going to be just there, stuck, waiting to someone to do it, to be successful in it. And once you're successful in it, they have the success, it's going to be, could be late. It could be you leading everyone. So why not you take the responsibility by itself? And okay, I'm going to wait, but I want to be ready. But as soon as I spot something that's good, I'm going to follow. Or I'm not going to wait, I want to make a decision. I need someone to just help me. Just get a coach. And the person will help you. Understand? And make the environment, the process of speech, as I told you, going to challenge when you say the structure, everything that's in the back of your mind, we're going to help you with it. So it's a big topic.
As you're aware, we're kind of short of time. But yeah, you're right. It is a big topic, and sorry to cut you short, but I think you summarized that really well in terms of the power of language. And even what we do in law is the way that we question somebody, and if somebody's a witness, if somebody's being cross-examined, they're the other side, you're going to use closed questions, compared with if it's your own client, you're going to use open questions. And just that shift in itself makes a big difference in the way that the individual responds. And I think it's really important that people understand the significance of the power of speech itself and the power that language has. You also gave the example as well, just about keeping somebody in the stretch zone. And I think something I just want to add as well is just about talking about something. Quite often it can develop into things that you hadn't anticipated. So for example, a few years ago, I wanted to get into cycling because everybody else was doing it. And I hadn't cycled since I was quite young. So it just started with a conversation. I said to somebody, it's like, I want to get into cycling. In fact, I was saying, can I borrow your bike? And they said, why don't you just buy your own? And it just got me thinking in a completely different way. And in fact, he just said, actually, I'm free today. Shall we just go to the shop and buy a bike? And within a few hours, I was the owner of a bike. And he said, oh, we can try it out in the park later today. So very quickly, just from a few words saying, oh, I want to get into cycling, I transitioned within a day to like riding a bike again, and to the stage where now I'm doing about 50 miles quite fairly comfortably. So it's
wow.
So the thing I'd like to add is just starting the conversation can often lead you to places that you hadn't anticipated. And I think that's something that's really powerful as well, just sharing.
Yeah. Everything starts with an idea, and every action starts with a word. So the idea is the thing behind, start with the idea, but the actions start with the word. So talking regarding it is the first action about any idea, and the first time you start to materialize and becomes real any idea. So yeah, talking, the process of speech is just amazing. I'm not going to extend anymore.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Italo. Sorry if I cut you off a few times. It's just, I know you've got lots of really interesting things to say. Obviously, it's a sunny day today. I'm sure people want to get some time outside in the sun as well. But those of you who want to hear more of Italo, he's here most weekends. I think from now on, it's going to be every fortnightly. He's got a lot of great information to share. Yes. And I'll be sharing my insights as well. So we'll continue these live sessions. I hope you find today's session helpful, just get an idea of what a coach can do for you in certain times. Next week, we're going to continue the theme of reintegrating into society. So from yesterday, the bars and clubs reopened. People are integrating a lot more now. Somebody sent me a message about cinemas opening as well. So things are starting to move in that direction, coaching direction.
I love that. I love that.
So I know people think that's probably
to help you in these times. Coaching direction.
I promise that was not premeditated.
It's not, but the word direction is the word like that everybody's looking to now. And then I come with this idea a long time ago. I'm so proud of it. I'm so happy.
Yeah, nice with it, Italo. It's a shame you can't patent the word.
Yeah, no, but I don't need. I like to share. I'm not a person who likes to be like, no, it's gonna be mine, and this is my one. Like, share. Let's be open. I think the values are in the company as well, but always be open, always be sharing, and empowering, and everything.
Yeah. Well, so just to reiterate, so next week we're going to be looking at social relationships, how they've changed during lockdown, and what's important about social relationships when we reintegrate into society. Because I think the lockdown has really exposed a lot of issues between people and every type of relationship, whether it's family, whether it's social, business. And I think it's really just important to understand the dynamics and that and what's going on. And I previously worked as a divorce lawyer as well, so I've seen pretty much every aspect of disputes. I work in litigation as well, which is all about managing disputes, and you understand, I think, a lot about relationships, and I think the coaching aspect has really helped me understand that as well. So I'll be sharing some of my insights. Before we finish off today, Italo, is there anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. I think you cover everything. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you again, Nadia, for doing this topic for us and structure everything. Unfortunately, she's not here, Nadia, but I want to thank her.
I thought I was going to have it really easy today, but
yeah. But thank you again, Siddiq, for doing this and be part of it. Thank you, Nadia, for all your effort that you did so far with us. I'm really sad that you was not here with us.
If anybody's got any queries, comments, questions,
please comment below. Anything, give us a call, or not a call. Go in our website, go in our Facebook page, or go in our Instagram. Get in touch with us if you need a coach, if you're looking for even more information for it, if you want to participate on the group. please get in touch with us, and we are here to help for sure. Okay?
Brilliant. Thanks, everybody, and see you next week. Take care.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye. And I think he's done. Good.
It's still difficult holding you back, man.
1 second. I need to do one thing here. I want to see if okay.
The coaching direction.
Okay, have audio in the. Oh, it's live. It went live. Everything is fine. Perfect.
Brilliant.
I love it. I love it.
Cool.
Oh, I need to stop the recording.
Yeah, like I said,